If we could first start off with kind of who you are, what you do, and what got you interested in that.
Well, first of all, I'm Daryl Reddick, and I'm retired.
Sure.
Uh, been retired for probably 3, 4. Actually, officially retired for 3 to 4 years. Um, the way I got interested in the business that I was involved in, actually all my life, I never had a different job. It was just the one job, and that was it.
Right.
Now there were different parts of the job that came as the years went by, and as I got older, and as the company transformed itself into a bigger company. The way I got interested in it was I was actually just a high school kid looking for a job, and I started working for my father-in-law, even though I didn't know he was going to be my father-in-law. Didn't know he was going to be my father-in-law then, but anyway, I got to working for him, just doing various things around the egg business, such as sweeping the floors, cleaning the windows, just making sure the thing was up and running right as far as my end of it.
Sure.
Whatever part I had, I loaded trucks and unloaded trucks, and so I got the feel for the egg business, and I wanted to know if I would be interested in looking at a job in Iowa.
Sure.
And so I said, yeah. I mean, I had no big plans for anything.
Right.
I wasn't one of these that had to go to college, or otherwise I would be a failure. Back in those days, I guess you still considered you could make a living. So
Right.
anyway, that's how I got interested in it. That's kind of how it came about.
Sure.
And I did take that trip to Iowa. I had a bunch of clothes with me, went to Iowa because I didn't know what to expect. And
That's from Ohio to Iowa.
From Ohio to Iowa,
yeah.
Correct. So I went out there and started with nothing, absolutely nothing. I mean, when he said the sky's the limit, he was right, because there wasn't much there. There wasn't any. I think they had, when I got to that business, I think they had a truck driver, and that was it.
Yeah.
They had one employee.
Yeah.
So, me being a young kid, I wanted to make everything happen right away. So, I started asking a lot of questions and doing a lot of different things, and the business progressed from there.
Along that path for many years, where's an area or areas where you've found success? It's a vague question, but
Yes, I felt my first success was when I actually had enough people working for me, working for the company, and working that we were actually making something happen. We were buying product, and we were shipping that product ungraded, as they called it at the time, ungraded to Ohio to be graded.
okay.
And so that was I guess my first bit of success that I felt that I could say, I definitely had something to do with that.
Right.
It's been successful. Let's see where it goes from there.
Sure. Where have you recognized something that you could have improved on, or you wish you would have done differently?
Well, probably the manager of the facility in Iowa.
Right.
I could have done a better job there. I often look back on that and say, yeah, I missed a lot of opportunities because I was young.
Right.
And I was proud of where we were. I was proud of the fact that I had accomplished even that much on my own at a young age. But when I look back on it, there were many opportunities that I missed that had I been perhaps an experienced person in business,
Right.
I could have done a lot better.
Sure. How does that lead into your thoughts on work ethic?
Well, I probably would get us, if we had an audience to this discussion, I would probably get a thumbs down on what I'm about to say. I believe that when you take a position with the company, no matter whether you're a dock worker or whether you're the salesperson or whether you're the buyer, I think it's up to you to make sure that there is no question about what you will do in case of a breakdown in
Yeah.
the leadership of an area. Yeah,
Sure.
that I get tired at my age now, and listening to some of the young folks, I get tired of them saying, well, I have to have this much time for myself, or I have to have this much family time. I believe in family time, but I believe that you get the job done first in whatever you're doing,
Right.
and then the family time comes in.
Right.
And your family, if they're eating every day, they got to understand that that's how that happens.
Right.
The fact that you're working every day
Right.
and you care about your job, even if you're a pencil pusher
Sure.
or a broom pusher.
Right.
One's just as important as the other.
Right. So when you were working, I know you said you're retired, but when you were working, what would a typical day or week look like?
Well, I suppose a typical day would look like I would be usually up by 6 o'clock and usually to the office by 7 to 7:30.
Sure.
If it required, going past the 5 o'clock, I never saw 5 o'clock when I was in business.
Right.
I never saw it as a time to leave.
Right.
I suppose it was because of my personality, but I just believed that I should be there and I should have my end finished up, and I should make sure that everybody that's working for me, that their end is finished up too.
Right.
And that's why I probably never saw 5 o'clock.
Right. Work-life balance.
Well, yeah, I pretty much touched on it, but that's to say that, and you think about it, you've got to catch up with your family too.
Right.
And by that I mean catching up is probably not a good phrase to use, but there's going to be times in your business life when you have taken time to make your business happen,
Right.
that perhaps there's some of those hours can be repaid at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month,
Right.
and still have time with the family. My family understood it. My family understood it because when I came home from work, and this was not because of any natural chaos,
Right.
but when I came home from work, we always had a pack. The phone goes in the cradle,
Mm-hmm.
not accepting any phone calls at
Mhm.
that time. Of course, they got cell phone now, but
Did you ever encounter fear or stress associated with business? And if you did, what techniques or what did you find effective to manage?
well, I had the same fears I think anybody has in business. You have a fear if it's gone well.
Right.
What did you do, because you want to repeat that, and are you going to be able to repeat the same thing? Stress, I think some stress is good.
Sure.
I think stress motivates.
Sure.
I'm sure in your business, you probably get a lot of stress at different times.
Right.
And I think the stress, and I found this as you get older, stress is not really what the word makes you feel it is. You look at stress as you get older as another problem,
Right.
instead of thinking, oh my goodness, the world's coming to an end.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's just a problem that you have to solve.
Yep.
Call it stress, call it what you want, but that's what it is to me. It's just another problem you have to solve.
Right.
And I think that again, that change happens as you get older.
Right. Okay. Any hobbies or decompression activities that you would, in your working timeline, that you would enjoy to kind of take a break, or, and then if you did, a kind of a second additional concept to that is vacation. You know, is vacations necessary, and if so, what frequency? Once a year, twice a year, once a month?
Yeah.
Kind of vacation and hobbies.
Well, first of all, our family was somewhat unique. My wife and I were married early, and which meant we had a young
How
family.
long have y'all been married for now?
Pardon me?
How long have y'all been married for
Well,
now?
this coming Christmas, we will be, Sharon and I will be married 63 years.
63 on Christmas Day.
Yeah, on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And I think the part you learned there is, what was the second part of your question? I was thinking
Vacation time and
Yeah.
how frequent would you take those?
Yeah, I think vacation time depends upon the business you're in and what cycles are.
Sure.
You know, you try to take the cycle when there's not as much happening.
Right.
So maybe your cycle is a summertime,
Sure.
or maybe the cycle's in the wintertime. You take it, I think you should take it when you know the cycle is kind of down.
When you're in a downtime.
And moving slow.
Yeah.
I believe you should take as many as you can afford.
Right.
Two ways. What can you afford business-wise, and what can you afford financially?
Right. If you could rewind the clock and share one thing with younger you, what would it be?
If you're trying to make a career out of what you're doing, have to spend time cultivating that career. Just take time to smell the roses. I can say that now, you see, because I am a lot older.
Sure.
And I can see where there were times I didn't.
Right.
And I could have and I should have.
Sure.